We've been sprouting water lily seeds. They take some work to get them to grow. We've tried 3 times unsuccessfully to plant these in the pond. 2 times unsuccessfully. The last time is working so far. First we just put them in okay, this is what we put them in first. Just a jar of water or Tupperware, and let the seeds sit in the bottom for 5 days or whatever in water. And then it starts to sprout. So once it started to sprout, put them in a bigger container with, it's got about 2 inches of dirt in the bottom, and then it all settled down and the water separated, and so we just planted the seeds down into the dirt down here, and they grew up until they reached the surface, and these little small lily pads have opened up. It's hard to keep the roots down in the soil though. They keep wanting to float up to the top. But so these are obviously ready to be transplanted. These had just sprouted and we tried to plant them directly into the pond, and that didn't work because apparently turtles like to eat little plants like this. So we lost all of the first ones. Well, we planted, how many did we plant? 5? We planted 5 of these in different areas, thinking that we would just watch them grow up and reach the surface. We went out the next day and there was no sign of green plant anywhere. All 5 of them were quickly eaten by turtles. We have a lot of turtles since we've been feeding the fish, and so the second attempt we waited until they were, you know, this big, and figured, okay, well, it's a big enough plant, maybe the turtles, it'll survive. So the next day the pieces of the plant were floating all over the place where the turtles had come and eaten off the stems, and so the third try we actually made a little fence out of chicken wire about 2 feet diameter, and brought it to where it was deep enough in the water to plant the water lily, but shallow enough that a couple inches of the fence stuck out above the water so that the turtles couldn't swim over or under it, and it protected the lily pads. And so far they're doing pretty well. Here's where we planted them. This was 3 days ago, I think. 3 or 4 days ago. We planted this. We put that cage down around it to keep the turtles out. And there are actually 3 plants right here. Some of them, the roots look like they floated up to the surface, like they weren't anchored enough well down at the bottom. But they're all still intact and alive, so I'm going to go re-secure those and try and bury the roots a little better. And I'm wearing some waterproof clothing so I can take a trip into the pond. So, here goes. Okay. I've got one. This one, the roots floated up, but it still looks okay. It does look like whatever was close enough to the edge of the cage has been bitten off.
Oh my goodness, really?
But
those stupid turtles.
The plant is still healthy and the roots are still there. This one looks really good.
Yay!
The stem has turned more red. It's a little bit thicker. And the 2 lily pads that are at the surface, they look really healthy and green.
Yay!
These have gotten bigger. They've grown in the water even with it just floating. So I think it'll be fine if I just plant it back in the ground. Like, I was planting these and then something was like attaching around was like clinging to the stem. And it was like this kind of like oval shaped thing, and it kept on floating right up the stem, and I was trying to catch it and it looked kind of transparent and gray, and I was like, oh my goodness, is it like crayfish or something that's like eating the stems, and
Uh-huh.
then I thought maybe it was a baby turtle that made its way through and it's eating at them, and
Uh-huh.
then I realized it's just a lily pad that's on its way up to the it's not all the way
Oh.
formed yet. So it's good news. It's growing new.
It's a lily pad.
Growing
Yay.
new branches. Now it's really well planted now. I dug a little trench a little deeper than before, and these still have some slack, like in the water, reaching all the way down to the bottom. So before they were trying to float their way up to the surface, and I think that uprooted it and pulled the roots right out. So it should be fine now. There's not going to be any pull on the roots.
Yay.
So that seems to have worked really well. Those plants are doing well. They've been protected from the animals. So I got some taller chicken wire this time. That was 2 feet over there, and this is 3 feet tall. So we can go a little deeper. We're gonna make enough to plant all the rest of these lily pads today, hopefully. The way that the lily pads propagate and spread in the water is not by seeds. It's really hard to get the seeds to grow. Mainly the roots, they take root, and they have little crawling roots that kind of implant themselves and make a large root structure, and then off of that root structure you have lots of lily pad stems that go up to different lily pads. Are all in a big knot right now, but this is like this you can see little roots coming out of the tip of this. So under the water, if this is planted, this is growing outwards away from the main root structure, breaking out new roots right here, and it'll have more roots over here and sending up new stems from this spot. So under the water, that's going to become a big root structure and just keep on spreading, and all the lilies will come up from that. So
That's really cool.
once we get these established, we're hoping it'll cover a good area of the pond and help to kind of prevent a lot of evaporation, and also give the fish a really good habitat. Okay.
Something.
This is our version of a water lily fence. So we can go 3 feet down into the water, and it'll keep all unwanted creatures away from the water lilies. We have 3 of them now. We're ready to go take these 3 into the pond and pick out a few spots where we want to start out.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Clip that.
I'll grab that. We're going to pick out a few areas that we want to sort of start developing water lilies and kind of... I'm just going to kind of make sure it's... Uh-oh.
What?
I might have caught a fish. Hang on.
Oh no.
Yep. Let's see if I can catch him with my bare hands. Oh.
Oh.
Almost.
Oh. Cool. It's a small one.
Our second catch out of the pond. This is a bluegill. He's
It's pretty. Are those like
It's a
really
type of-
pokey?
they are if you go up the wrong way. You can push them down,
Mhm.
but it can cut you a little bit
Oh.
if you grab it the wrong way. Okay.
Oh.
Bye-bye. You're all right.
He's like,
Okay, back to work.
freedom.
Okay. We didn't get it all finished. We got 4 different cages put together, and with lily pads planted in the middle of them. So we just kind of stayed around this half of the pond over right in line with the sun. You can't see that one.
Yeah, they can see it.
Okay, well, there's 2 on that side, and the 2 that we planted over by this tree that's at the edge of the water. So we'll make some more chicken wire cages tomorrow and get the rest of these planted, but we'll put them back in water for now. So we'll watch the progress and keep everyone updated as they grow. Hopefully we'll see this pond get covered with lily pads and water lilies by the end of the summer.
That's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed. Happy homesteading. See you next time.